Hello there, guys. It's me, a Dirt Muffin here, back for Chapter 13 of The Golden Armor. I'm sorry if I'm a bit groggy today. I just got off work and sat down and decided to record, so hopefully it doesn't affect things too much. With that in mind, let's get started real quick here. Sometimes life doesn't work out. Sometimes it just seems to take any situation and make it 10 times worse. Take the letter Comet received, for instance. The letter was written on parchment made from a cheap material, so the manufacturer could make a 7-bit profit on each piece in bulk. The inferior material therefore made it taste like an old sock wrapped in a smelly shoe. The local mailman in San Francisco took the letter from Mangrove, Comet's mother, about a week ago and made the mistake of trying to take it with it in her mouth. The nasty taste caused her to spit it out and vomit. And as such, the letter was blown away. She gave chase after it and finally caught it after 20 minutes. However, she was now late delivering the mail, so she stuffed it into her bag. So it stayed there for 2 days. The mailman had completely forgotten about the letter in her rush to deliver the mail and found it 2 days later when she accidentally delivered it to the wrong pony. When the letter finally reached the post office to be sent to Canterlot, the dejected mail sorter had just broken up with his longtime mare friend because he was too afraid to pop the question and threw it into the non-priority mail. And there it sat in a bag as he cried in the corner waiting for Comet to finally read it. 2 more days later, the bag containing the letter was moved onto a train and bound for Canterlot. Ironically, the same one Mangrove and Sunstorm were on. The couple, blissfully unaware of their son not receiving the letter, chatted away about how much they wanted to see Comet in his guard armor. Mangrove also speculated that perhaps Comet had found a nice mare to be with, and though Sunstorm agreed internally he was thinking about what to say to Comet about mares. His son, who Sunstorm was proud to have as could be, was inexperienced in dealing with mares, and he hoped he wouldn't reach Canterlot and find his son married or with the foal prepping to be born. The train arrived 3 days later on time, a first for the letter's brief existence. As passengers, including Mangrove and Sunstorm, departed, the bag the letter was in was carefully unloaded taken out and thrown into a wagon. A few letters spilled out, but luckily not Comet's. Upon reaching the post office in Canterlot, I clicked up. Oh, God. Okay. Upon reaching the post office in Canterlot, Mangrove and Sunstorm were admiring the city's mini shops. The letter was organized into a royal guard pile by a disgruntled pony who complained the other post offices should at least organize the mail for him. When it was all sorted, the letter was magically transported along with 40 others to the Canterlot Castle. There, a staff member of the castle took her time organizing them, giving Mangrove and Sunstorm enough time to reach the castle and pass the security inspection. As they were led to the relaxation room, the letter was finally sent away to Comet, who just shouted as his parents reached the door. Comet stared intently at the letter while Angel and Valerie cracked huge grins. They were finally going to meet Comet's parents. Angel thought of all the fun they would be, while Valerie thought of what would make a good impression. They didn't get much time, though, since the door swung open to reveal a unicorn guard with bright green earth pony mare and a tall, cool-looking yellow Pegasus. Comet spun around to see who it was, and his pupils instantly shrunk to pinholes. "Mom? Dad? You're here!" he asked in a shocked voice. "Well, hello to you too, Comet." The yellow Pegasus spoke up. He gave a skeptical look to the orange Pegasus, but his lovely green wife squealed happily and charged him. Comet managed a yelp of surprise, and the green mare hugged him tightly while planting about 3 kisses on his cheek. Comet panicked and frantically attempted to push her away before any more damage could be done, but hysterical laughing broke out on the other side of the room. Sunstorm looked over to see its set of gray hooves up in the air, kicking about wildly, and a feather pony's head buried into the table, pounding what looked like a claw into it. "Oh my, sweetie pie, I missed you so much!" Mangrove cried as she squeezed Comet tighter. "It's been so quiet around the house without you there. I was even cleaning up your own room and started crying when I found your old stuffed alicorn from my very first family vacation." "Mom!" Comet shouted in a mixture of dread and fear. Angel and Valerie started laughing even harder, but Mangrove continued.
Oh, do you remember the first time you said you wanted to be a guard? You were only just a little colt and ran around the neighborhood, trying to stop littering and bullying. You came home covered in garbage, but now look at you. You're a full member of the Royal Guard. Wait till they see you back home.
She reminisced, and a look of utter horror swept across Comet's face, and Sunstorm decided it was best to intervene before Mangrove listed something really bad. Mangrove, I think you should...
Oh, and that time we went to...
Mangrove.
You were so bent on getting a guard cutie mark.
Mangrove!
You accidentally picked up the wrong sword and...
Mangrove!
You had your teeth fixed.
Mangrove! The brilliantly colored mare turned a confused face in the yellow Pegasus as he cleared his throat before nodding forward. She spun her head again and finally noticed the two sets of golden eyes watching her eagerly. One was clearly a griffin due to the feathers and beak, but the other one had her small fangs poking out from under her upper lip, and an adorable look on her. Mangrove guessed it was a her face. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Mangrove's eyes widened, just like Comet's usually did, and she gave a louder squeal. Her son was spending time with mares. Unbridled excitement coursed through her body as she let go of Comet in favor of this new pony, whose face of glee quickly melted into one of fear. Sunstorm planted his hoof onto his face, and apparently his wife had not gotten the cue to stop. She tackled Angel as well into a rather large hug, and Valerie started to laugh again. However, Valerie soon learned that it was the wrong thing to do, because when Mangrove heard her girly laugh, she realized the griffin was a mare too, and brought her into the hug.
My son has 2 friends now? She almost shouted. I must be dreaming. Here I thought he'd only have 1 stallion for a friend, but he has 2 mares. I'm the happiest mother in the world right now.
She squeezed tighter on Angel and Valerie, causing them to lose their breath. Valerie struggled to get away from the crazy green mare, but Angel somehow managed to grin.
Yeah, Comet and I have been friends since day 1, she stated happily. Valerie here just joined out.
Wait, what?
Valerie here just joined out the circle.
Okay. It took 2 minutes of Comet and Sunstorm prying away to get at Mangrove's legs to finally release Angel and Valerie. The 2 stallions apologized a lot to the Bat Pony and Griffin, but Angel didn't seem to care. Once the stallions managed to calm Mangrove down, the 2 mares finally got to introduce themselves. Mangrove instantly warmed up to Angel due to her bubbly personality, but Valerie shied away, preferring to stand close to Comet like a scared animal. Sunstorm, Comet's father, trotted over and said, So, son, 2 friends now, huh? Comet gulped as Valerie leaned closer to him, clearly afraid of what Sunstorm would do. And he managed an awkward smile. Yeah, Dad, they're really nice, especially Valerie here. He gave the griffin a nice, at his side, a little push as she looked up at the yellow Pegasus nervously.
Hi, I'm Valerie,
was all she managed to blurt out. Sunstorm smiled warmly to her and held out a hoof, saying, The name's Sunstorm, if you can't guess by now. I'm Comet's father. Valerie reached out tentatively with a claw, and Sunstorm gave a small laugh. Don't be shy, I'm not going to hug you or invade your personal space, he said brightly. Valerie took his hoof and shook it before quickly returning it back to herself. She looked up at Comet, who smiled gently back, and she started to blush.
I've got something I need to do, she stated quickly while looking away from him. I'll be back.
She walked off to the door and left a very confused-looking Comet with a smirking Sunstorm. Wow, son, Comet's Sunstorm mused. I didn't know you were a hot commodity among the Griffin mares. Comet blushed furiously at that statement and said, She's just a friend, Dad. You know, that's how me and your mother met. We were just friends, too, Sunstorm said with a playful hint in his voice. Comet shook his head, forcing the blush to go away, and looked up at his father. It's not like that, Dad, he said plainly, and Sunstorm shrugged. Hey, she's waiting on you to make a move, my boy. If you like her, don't wait too long or she'll get bored, he said, before letting the subject drop. He was very happy for his son to have a mare He was very happy for his son to have a mare like her, I would assume, even if she was a griffin. As the 2 trotted over to the animated discussion between Angel and Mangrove, Son mused at the idea of possibly having a griffin for a filly-in-law. Mangrove had always wanted grand foals, but could a pony in Griffin even have a foal? Sun shrugged the thought off for another time as Comet cleared his throat. Yeah. Catching both Angel and Mangrove's attention. So, Angel, it appears you've met my mother, and this is my dad, Sunstorm, he stated with an apprehension in his voice. Sun beamed brightly and held out a hoof. Pleased to meet ya, he said nicely.
Oh, my Celestia! This is so cool!
Angel shouted excitedly.
I never thought I'd meet both of his parents. You two are so cool, and
Angel began to ramble as she excitedly looked over Sunstorm, and Mangrove seized the opportunity to trot over to Comet and gave him a gentle motherly hug.
So how's my little Comet?
She asked in her sweet voice. Comet simply smiled in return, and Mangrove gave her own.
I'm so proud of you for making it into the Guard. I always knew you'd... I'm so proud of you for making it in. I always knew you'd be a Guard, even after...
Mom, please don't talk about that. Comet stated quickly.
Oh, right. I just wish she was there to see you. She'd be just as happy as I am, Mangrove said, with a hint of sadness in her voice.
Comet's smile turned into a small scowl as he thought about her. She really would have been happy to see him like this. Pushing that thought out of his head and wanting to change the subject, Comet said, So what do you think? What do you think of Angel? Mangrove's eyes widened dramatically, and a huge grin split her face.
Oh, she's just a doll, Mangrove said excitedly. She's so fun and energetic, just the kind of mare I think you need. Not to mention she's adorable as well.
Comet grinned awkwardly and rubbed his mane with a hoof as his mother continued, hoping the Celestial Angel wasn't able to hear this.
She's a bad pony to boot, and I'm really impressed you found a mare like her. Have you taken her out on a date yet?
That would be a no, Comet said flatly.
Oh, you really should. She's so adorable, and I'm sure there are other stallions just drooling over her.
Mangrove happily mused. It doesn't work that way, Mom, Comet said in a pleading tone. He really wanted her to stop before Angel could hear the conversation.
Oh, do you have something special planned?
Mangrove asked with a sparkle in her eye. What do you have planned? Angel said, sticking her head a little too close to Comet. His eyes shrunk horribly, and Mangrove smiled.
Why, a date, of course,
she stated brightly. Angel froze, staring at Comet with her big golden eyes. His face was locked into a scared expression behind the three ponies. Sunstorm buried his face into his hoof. Mangrove was a very forward mare, often projecting her own wishes upon Comet. Now she had just put Comet between a rock and a hard place. A huge grin so big Comet was amazed at the fit spread across Angel's face as she tackled and hugged him.
You were going to ask me out on a date? She nearly shouted in his ear. Oh, my Celestia, Comet, why didn't you ask me sooner? Of course, I would love to go on a date.
Outside the room, Valerie paused, as she had thought she'd overheard something about a date between Comet and Angel, but she shook her head and trotted off. While she'd never admitted out loud, Mangrove actually kind of scared her. However, it wasn't long after she had started trotting away that an odd thought popped into her mind. One of she and Comet on a date. Valerie laughed at the notion, but noted how nice the idea felt. Inside Comet's mind, he was yelling in frustration. Sure, he thought Angel was cute, but this is not how he wanted to ask her out. He was still fighting with himself about Angel or Valerie, so taking Angel out on a date before he was absolutely sure made things a whole lot more messy. I mean, yeah, Angel outclassed Valerie at almost everything, especially the cute factor, but he wanted to make the first date to be special, but having his mother set him up with his best friend was not exactly special in any way. But still, Angel was cute and sweet, and nice, and cute. Comet cracked a small grin at the bad pony, who smiled as brightly as she could. Maybe going on a date wouldn't be so bad. In Angel's mind, she was just simply throwing the biggest party she could imagine. The stallion she had a huge crush on just asked her out on a date. Maybe she could have him after all. That is chapter 13. Thank you guys for listening. Leave a comment in the down low, and that's it.